Casting lines, catching data. Sally Dowd blends scientific data with angler observations to protect ocean predators, the ecosystems they support, and the communities that depend on them. By Alyssa LaFaro. August 27th, 2025. Sally Dowd learned how to net a fish when she was 5 years old. Each summer, her family would escape the bustle of Charlotte and head to their family home in Wilmington, where their days were spent exploring and swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. My twin sister and I spent most of our childhood there, either looking down at fish or looking up at the dock, she recalls. We'd admire the corals. We'd catch octopi and the most colorful fish. The dock was just swarming with them. But by the time Dowd was 18, the sound had changed. When I left for college, there were only small minnows around the dock and a lot of algae, she says. It was kind of my first research project. We'd always go to the same spot, so we had this informal data on the fish that used to be there. Over time, she watched them disappear. When Dowd began college at the University of California, Berkeley in 2016, she knew she wanted to study something that would help protect marine life. She enrolled in the biology program and began volunteering with both a shark conservation organization and an environmental nonprofit focused on preserving the world's oceans. The more she learned, the more involved she became. During her junior year, she interned at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, where she studied mesopelagic fish, species that live 200 to 1,000 meters down in the ocean. Her project focused on how harvesting these fishes may affect their predators and the broader marine ecosystem. Now a PhD student at the UNC Institute of Marine Sciences, Dowd studies the distribution of marine predators like humpback whales, red and black drum, and coastal sharks. Her work will help managers and other scientists understand how the environment and prey influence predators, improve conservation strategies, and reduce bycatch when non-target species are unintentionally caught during fishing. We lack data on predators because it can be hard to observe them in their natural environment, Dowd explains. For example, humpback whales come up to breathe and then dive back down. So even though there are surveys tracking their distribution, it's still difficult to actually see and study them in the wild. To fill those gaps, Dowd uses existing datasets to model predator distribution in new ways, and explores innovative approaches to gather information. Building on her interest in predator behavior, Dowd recently turned her attention to North Carolina's sharks. Instead of relying on large scientific datasets, she formed a unique alliance, partnering with recreational land-based shark fishers to tap into their frequent observations on the water. An angler's perspective. On a scorching hot evening at Emerald Isle, Dowd chats with an angler who just finished anchoring his rod in the sand. The tide grazes her bare feet as she hands him a pink clipboard with her survey attached. She asks him to mark the months he typically fishes for sharks, and to note the species he's encountered during those times. Their observations will help her track some of the more than 50 shark species found in North Carolina waters. Blacktips, bulls, hammerheads, sand tigers, and more, each with its own seasonal patterns and habitat preferences. Land-based shark fishing involves setting up rods and reels along beaches, piers, or bridges to catch sharks from shore. Using heavy-duty gear capable of handling large predators, they often deploy bait into deeper waters with the help of kayaks or drones. The sport is gaining traction in North Carolina. Though the practice sparks controversy, raising concerns about conservation and the proximity of sharks to populated beaches, Dowd views these anglers as essential collaborators in her research, stressing that they've been left out of the science and management process for too long. "We don't have a lot of data on sharks because they're hard to study," she says. "They move around a lot, and there aren't as many of them since they sit at the top of the food chain. But these anglers are on the water often and have valuable information that they're willing to share." That's where the UNC Institute of Marine Sciences, IMS, comes in. Based in Morehead City, IMS has been a trusted partner to both recreational anglers and commercial fishers for decades. With one of the nation's longest-running shark research programs, the 78-year-old institution provides critical data that supports local communities and helps shape sustainable fishing practices, making it the perfect home base for Dowd's work. Dowd aims to interview 30 anglers to better understand the seasonal distribution of large coastal sharks along the North Carolina coast. She's collecting data on which species are being caught, when they're being caught, and why anglers might be catching certain sharks over others. She's also asking about fishing habits and opinions on current shark fishing regulations, along with ideas for how those laws might be improved. So far, the interviews have yielded promising insights. Several anglers have pointed to water temperature as a key factor in shark movement. Some people think about shark distribution in terms of seasons or months, Dowd says. But a lot of anglers talk about temperature, like, oh, it's 25 degrees Celsius. This shark is going to be here. So that's interesting. Science meets stewardship. Sharks are just one part of Dowd's dissertation. The others tackle a fundamental question in ecology. Do we need to know where prey are to understand where predators are? To explore this, she analyzes existing datasets of other predators, red and black drum, southern kingfish, and humpback whales. It's hard to collect predator and prey data at the same time, she explains. So I'm using data gathered at different times, maybe a week or two apart and in different locations, to see if there's any overlap. Ecologists like Dowd are pursuing answers to this question to better preserve and manage species that play a major role in their ecosystems. For instance, ship traffic kills thousands of whales each year. Understanding where these animals are in space and time can help protect them and, in turn, support the balance of the food chain. But Dowd's work goes beyond animals and data. It's also about people. She's forging connections between scientists and coastal communities who live and fish along the shoreline, recognizing that collaboration is key to both understanding and protecting marine ecosystems. We have to consider both the predators and the people who rely on them, she says. I want to make sure anglers are part of the conversation because they have key knowledge that could really help us all work together to conserve and manage species. Sally Dowd is a PhD candidate at the UNC Institute of Marine Sciences, which is part of the Department of Earth, Marine, and Environmental Sciences within the UNC College of Arts and Sciences.